everyone, and welcome back to Healthy and Well's YouTube channel. Today I'm doing something really special, something that is so near and dear to my heart. I am doing a book review. So you may not know this, but I'm a bit of a nerd. I really enjoy reading and learning things. And that's kind of how I got into health and wellness too. I was reading different texts and it just made me feel more inspired. I felt like I was gaining more wisdom, and then that translated over into just holistic health and wellness. So today I am going to be talking about Vibrate Higher Daily. Vibrate Higher Daily, Live Your Power. Awesome title. But this book is so good. Like, I already just want to read it again because there's just so much in here. But this is the incredible woman, Layla Delia. She wrote this book so beautifully. And she's also featured in the Healthy and Well Black pages. She's one of the amazing women in there. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. So this is my first time going back through the book since I started reading it. So I'm just gonna go through and tell you some things that just rocked my world, that were just so good. Yeah. So what is vibration? She says that vibration is the constant bridge of communication between the mind, body, spirit, and outer world. Okay, interesting concept. And then this is probably the one that'll make the most sense. Vibrational based living is the day to day lifestyle of intentionally moving through your life with awareness of forces operating from within you, through you, around you, and in all things. So it's like I have a vibration. This candle has a vibration. This bookshelf has a vibration. So everything has a vibration, and being aware of that, you are then able to control that and determine what type of vibe or energy that you want to bring out into the world. And so that really hit home for me because I kind of know my spirit and my energy, but sometimes it changes depending on where I'm at, or if I'm in a situation where I don't feel as comfortable or as confident. And how can I just silence that and still let my own energy, positive, good energy, good vibes just radiate, even when the vibes or the energy around me may not even feel that way. But how can I be the change? How can I shift that? So yeah, then I'm okay, this is where I start to say, okay, I like the vibrations. I'm into this. Okay. And then this one, she's talking about how we can vibrate higher daily, not just, I want to have good energy, but it's how do you really cultivate that? And it's through daily practice. And so she says, through daily practices, we are able to build a lifestyle that serves us and that supports our exodus from a life that doesn't serve us, personally and collectively. That was really affirming for me when I read this, because I have gotten into more of a routine. Every morning I'll do certain things that'll really help me to feel like myself, help me to feel grounded, take away any anxiety or negativity. And so on days where I'm just I don't either, I may not even need it. I may wake up feeling great and I'm I don't need to do all that stuff. Or maybe I feel like crap and then I don't even feel like doing it. But gradually, I've learned no days off. The days that I take off, something about it feels a little unsettled. If I do this thing where I kind of come home to myself, that I feel gathered and I feel secure, then when I go throughout the day, my foundation is so good because my morning was really setting the tone for the day. So nothing can shake me too bad where I can't get back to that peace or that joy that I found through my daily practice. So yeah, seeing that, I was okay, I'm on the right track. Okay, so this is the part that I liked. She has something called the self-assessment, and it's after the first chapter. I low-key wish you had one after each chapter, but it's okay. So this exercise is called Vibrational Inventory, and it really helps you to think about the energy around you, your own energy, the energy that certain people have, the energy that the food you eat has, your home, your workplace, all these things. And I'll read just a couple of them off just to give you an idea. But she asks, what kind of vibration are you reinforcing through your habits? What kind of vibration are you reinforcing through your daily lifestyle choices? This is big. What kind of vibration is feeding and influencing you through the things you listen to, watch, read, and consume mentally? That can go both ways. Like, that could be, a really positive thing. Like, I have some things that kind of are in opposition of each other. Like, I love books, um, but I also go down that social media tunnel. And then I also love reality television. But the thing with reality TV is, like, I love it for the humor. That humor just like allows me to just like relax. Like, when I'm chilling, it's when I'm watching like The Real Housewives. But reading books and stuff is very active. Like, you're always learning. So sometimes when I need to just turn that knob off to be like, Naomi, like, you don't need to learn right now. It's okay. Then I go watch my stuff. So yeah, but it's just really good to be real with yourself and say, okay, these are things that are feeding me, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. All right, we're going into chapter 2. And I'm sorry, because chapter 1, did that one have a title? Yes, okay. Chapter 1, Another Way of Being. So it's because, it's an introduction to vibrational based living. Chapter 2 is about the self. So this is getting into the core. All right, I'm just going to read through because she says it the best. Vibration matters because it's the root of ourselves. It's the spiritual force always radiating through all created things. Vibrations guide you when you're on a spiritual path. They guide you toward what's best for you and away from what isn't. They give direction for tuning out of a life that isn't serving you and turning into a life that will. Yep. And another quote that I love, and let me just show you because she has these throughout the book and I think it's so cool. She just has these little quote pages, like every 3 or 4 pages, and they're always just spot on. So like if you ever needed like a daily affirmation or something, that's basically what's in the book too, along with the regular book. Okay, so she says, don't ever stop believing in your personal transformation. It is happening even on the days you may not realize it or feel like it. Because I've had those days, and I'm sure I still have some more of them, but that was like, come on. Don't ever stop believing. Like, those days where you feel like you're just being overcome with emotions, you're feeling insecurities that you felt in the past, but it's like, you're still transforming. Like, it's still happening. You're probably handling that situation differently than you did when it happened before. So just trust that. Know that it's always, always, always working in you. Ooh, and this one I really like. She's talking about how we go throughout the day and sometimes we're around bad energy and how we can let go of that and not let it stick with us. So she says, take time to recuperate, to clear away any vibrational buildup you've accumulated and absorbed during the day. So easy way to do that, meditation. And it does work. I mean, even if you do the simplest thing of just sitting somewhere by yourself and breathing, that's literally all you need sometimes to check in with yourself and say, hey, who am I? What is this? And what do I need to get over? Because it's a bad energy and you need to let your energy, your good energy, overpower that, get you through that, anything. But yeah, those moments, you just go by yourself. If you're at work, because I'm going back to work soon, so I may need to do this. If I have to go, take a bathroom break, collect my thoughts, 2 minutes of just breathing. Sometimes that's all you need. So I love that. Take that time to recuperate, to clear away any vibrational buildup. We don't want to be clogged. Okay. We are getting into, this is still chapter 2. This is still the self, but this is probably my favorite part of the entire book. It's so beautifully written, and yeah, like I feel like any time that I'm struggling, that I have an issue, outside of, prayer and everything, I'm going to this because it literally describes all of the difficult moments in your life and like tells you what that is. What does that mean? Like, how do you get through it? So, yeah, she calls this terrains we journey through. And yeah, okay. So the metaphorical terrains. The first one is the mountain. The mountain is your obstacle. It's the thing that feels overwhelming to get around or over. It often causes stress and lower vibrations. The mountain is the emotional heaviness, the burdens, the pain, the stressors, the triggers, all of that. Now, what's the purpose of this? Because going through hard things can be easier if you know why this is happening and you know, like, okay, what is this going to teach me? So she says that the journey brings you to the mountain to strengthen and fortify you, to raise your awareness, to expand your vision, and to build vibrational and spiritual muscle, endurance, and resilience. The mountain is the entry point to self-discipline, renewed strength, and higher awareness, insight, and perspective. What's that little emoji? The 100 //. Like, it's so correct. And it's like when you have a mountain in front of you, you're like, there is no way that I'm going to get over this. Like, it just seems impossible. It's challenging. It's frustrating. And then eventually you will get over that mountain. And then once you do, like, there's nothing you can't do. Like, you're so strong. Like, you've dealt with something that could have easily just taken you out. And so, yes, that will bring you the renewed strength. That'll give you a higher awareness, insight, and perspective. Because you get perspective when you're on top of the mountain. Okay. Next, we have the desert, which is the place on your journey where it appears you're alone. When you're in the desert, nothing seems to be growing or moving toward you. Nothing appears nourishing. It's like literally being in the desert. You're just standing alone. Not even like you got your phone and you can call somebody. Like, you are on your own. And that period of life where you just feel stuck. Like, nothing is moving. Like, nothing is growing. You feel stagnant. So, she says that the purpose of the desert is to be a transitional place in the journey where you purge all that you are not and dissolve all that's no longer useful. That is like saucha in Sanskrit, and it literally means like cleansing, releasing all of the things that don't serve you. It is the initiation and entry point into a new vibration of you and your life's purpose, power, and work. The place through which you become your truer and higher self. I think I can do the desert. Like, I mean, you think about it, it's like, being in a desert, that does not sound good. But when you think about everything that comes from it, it's really, really beautiful. Okay, so we've had the mountain, we've had the desert, and now we have the storm. A spiritual storm is a divinely controlled experience, event, or condition in your life that can cause loss, confusion, and pain. Yet this chaos is for your higher good and progress. The storm is where and when some level of your life is suddenly disrupted by the winds of change. That sounds like COVID to me. Yeah, it's like literally just sweeping you up. There's nothing you can do. And she says vibrating higher is how you can outlast the storm. While in its midst, you vibrate higher by seeking shelter in, aligning with, anchoring yourself in the divine, drawing nearer to the divine. A greater force gives you spiritual covering and leads to insight, strength, direction, and the perfect peace that holy scriptures speak of. Through the storm and afterward, as you move onward, you gain greater resilience and power. Aligning. That's what I got from that. Like, that's the word that I'm like, you know what? That's a good word. Aligning myself with the divine. And the purpose of the storm is that the journey, brings you to the storm to strengthen you, to clear your path, and to reroute your life. The storm purifies you and helps you develop a higher level of spiritual, mental, and emotional stability and power. that's amazing. I mean, I don't know what everybody's experience is like having to deal with COVID-19, but for me, it completely transformed my life, and in the best way possible. I was kind of, coming out into this new higher vibration, not even knowing it, but it didn't get solidified until I really had this time to just be by myself. Like, being by myself, figuring out what I like, figuring out what I need, figuring out who I am. Yeah, I feel like COVID-19 is a bit of a storm, but just know that it may feel rocky. It may feel like the wind just swept you away and you're somewhere that you've never been. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and things will definitely make you stronger. So just embrace this time. Do the best that you can to just weather the storm. Okay, so the terrains were amazing. And I only read snippets of it because the actual thing, you just gotta get the book because it's so good. Okay, so this is something that I really want to share with you guys because I have been talking about this with a couple of people in my life recently, but she calls this section the impact that vibes have on us. She quotes something saying, "It's said in some spiritual and healing traditions that our issues are in our tissues until we release them," meaning people can carry their burdens, pain, and limited thinking in their bodies. And I totally agreed when I read that. And I actually just watched Heal on Netflix. And it talks about just this, like our issues being in our tissues, and knowing that our health isn't just about, our body, but it's our mind and it's our spirits. Like, how many things are you just carrying in your heart that are like weighing you down that are now going to manifest, as a sickness in your body? So it's just so great to read that and to know that, because it gives me more of a sense of urgency. If there's ever anything that's truly bothering me, like, don't ignore it, because it's going to stay there and it may come out in ways that you don't want it to. So get on that, and I'm gonna stay on it too. Okay, so just to give you a little preface, Layla does talk about her life, kind of like pre-vibrational based living, and she talks a lot about like some really, I guess you could say, like toxic relationships that she was in. And I don't know if you've been in one of those. I know I have, and it's kind of what led me to where I am today as far as seeking out holistic health and wellness, and just learning more about like mind, body, spirit connection and self-care, all that stuff, all of it. Just give it to me all. But here's what she says, kind of referencing that past. She says, "There were times where I was lost, hurting, exhausted, and looking for anyone who seemed to know how to help me find peace and healing. But then I discovered that through self-care, I have the power to shift my vibration within, so I no longer look to other people to fix me. I remembered who I was, and I changed the game." Of course, you remember that's where she put that quote at the beginning of the book too. But hearing it in this context gives it even more juice, even more power. And I think it's beautiful. That was a journey that I feel like I went through that same kind of path for a little bit, feeling like I wasn't happy, and I didn't think that it was up to me. I thought it was up to being with someone, having a relationship to be happy. And it wasn't until I started being intentional about practicing self-care and knowing that sometimes self-care isn't easy, like setting boundaries is self-care, and that is probably one of the hardest things for me to do. But it's necessary. And yeah, once you do that, and then you have your self-worth built up, confidence going up, like you remember who you are, and then the game has changed. It's just like, no, I'm not doing the stuff I used to do. This is different, okay? This is higher, vibrating higher. Okay. Now, Oh my gosh, guys, I have to tell you, this chapter got me a little emotional because it's about friends. Sorry, it's really called Others, but she talks about friends. I'll tell you my little anecdote later, but I'm gonna get into her words first. Now, this is big. This is kind of going off of what I was just talking about, of, you know, that kind of being lonely, not feeling joyful or whatever. If you're in that dark place by yourself, sometimes you do some things that you probably shouldn't do. So she says, out of desperation, boredom, or loneliness, you can be tempted to entertain the wrong relationships. Remember your goals and rise above. Remember your goals and rise above. And I know it's tempting. Sometimes things happen and you're like, that instant gratification will be real nice, but it's like, nope. Remember your goals, rise above, and be intentional. It's all up in there. And then she gets me. She talks about, you know, friends. And so she lists like the right friends or like the great friends. But then she talks about the wrong people and what can happen when you're around the wrong people. So make you compromise your truth and higher good. The wrong people don't check in on you. They downplay your opinions, feelings, ideas, and good news. The wrong people can reverse your progress and self-care. The wrong people don't respect your boundaries. The wrong people don't reciprocate the energy, support, and love you give. Just see if your people are in this category. You may have to shift some things around, and that's okay. But just know. Okay, and then what's so beautiful is that she says, maybe a better word for relationships is nurtureships, which I think is great. Like, I want to help nurture my friends, and I would hope that they would want to do the same thing for me. So I think that's very, very accurate. And the right people grow and vibrate higher with you. They work on their inner lives in progressive, productive, or mindful ways. And they don't downplay your opinions, feelings, ideas, or good news. Okay, so we are at the final chapter, chapter 4. It's called Vibrating Higher in the World. So what she talks about with vibrating higher in the world, first she reminds you that you have to pour from a restored and full cup. You can't be in the world trying to do all the amazing things that you want to do if you're like on E. Like, it's just not going to be good for you. So she tells you how to do that, how to pour from a restored and full cup. Set intentions and regularly check in with yourself. Set vibrational boundaries. Take stock of everything on your plate and decide what you give your attention to each day, what can wait, and what you can say no to. Return to what fills and restores you in a nourishing and empowering way. Repeat daily. I mean, if you don't do these practices every day, it probably sounds like a lot. But I'm telling you, these are things that I've like incorporated into my daily practice, into my morning routine. So it really does help you to pour from that restored and full cup. Like, everyone has things in their lives that fills them up. It could be prayer. It could be alone time. It could be writing. It could be talking to a friend. It could be gardening. It could be cooking. Like, you just have to know what that is for you and how you can translate that into every day of your life so that you can always pour from a full and restored cup. And she also does talk about vibrational literacy and environmental wellness, which is really important. Vibrational literacy is basically all communities having access to this information. She talks a lot about how she grew up in a neighborhood in LA, and she was like, I didn't have access to, health and wellness things, and how to talk to therapists and what to eat and all these things. And so she's saying that, we have a responsibility to make sure that this information is accessible. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I even started Healthy and Well, because I was like, I know I'm not an expert in these things, but I'm passionate about learning about it, and I feel like more people should be able to know about this. And so that's why I'm sharing some things with you today too. And then the environmental wellness is about obviously taking care of the world. She says, we are divinely appointed caretakers of this world. So it's important to consider the vibrational impact we make and leave behind. So that was something that I was like, I love that. And I know that that's something that I can improve on as far as, recycling, composting and things like that. So I'll leave you with kind of one of the final sentences. Yeah, so she says, more, bigger, and faster are not always better, and they are not always in alignment with the Earth's natural rhythm or with the good vibrations that comfort and nurture us. Corrupted power disrupts the flow of high vibrations. Just let that marinate and take from that what you will, because we could really unpack that if we wanted to, but I won't. Okay. And I love this. She just closes the book by saying, to all the things that help set us free to vibrate higher daily, thank you. And so I wrote out like the things that make me vibrate higher daily. And I thought that was important to do because now I have tools. Now I have tools. I feel like Naomi a year ago, she didn't have the tools to really get herself out of that rut and to vibrate higher daily. But yeah, it's like now I have so many things that I could turn to that will help me to be my best. And that's yoga, that's nature, that's God, that's healthy food, that's books, that's journaling, that's friends, meditation, candles, rest. Like so many things that will help me to feel like myself, to feel like my most confident self, my most centered, my most balanced. And that's so huge. And I love that. I love that. Okay. And this, she has an epilogue too. And it's really beautiful. But I will just read this last kind of paragraph that is amazing. This is closing reminders to keep you on your path to high vibrational based living. So she says, keep a healthy problem-solving mindset on the journey ahead of you. Troubleshoot when and where necessary to identify problems, to seek positive energy, people, and intentions, and to know what you need to steer away from, move on from, or let go of. Create a path of action. Keep a journal or create a document that takes note of what's healing you currently and what's causing disharmony. What are any current pain points or blockages? What is helping you fortify and thrive? Stay mindful of different vibrational causes and effects. Communicate with your journal often. Know when to go alone and when to call in reinforcements. Your reinforcers could be people, practices, or items that offer you support, protection, and or accountability. Remember to breathe. On days when stress, illness, or particular problems absorb you and you're not feeling like yourself, breathe deeply and take all the time you need to feel like your empowered self again. When you feel powerless, remember that the terrains and weather are challenging you out of your comfort zone and into your higher potential and purpose. Y'all, this book is it. I mean, and those were only snippets. Like, there's so much more in here. There's so many more gems in here. So I hope you all will all get this. I'm going to put the link to get this book in the little description area. And get into Layla. Follow her on Instagram. Follow her on Twitter. She's really amazing. Really inspiring. Yeah, get into it. And thank you so much for joining me. I'm definitely going to do this again because I just love reading so much. And I think it's so important to talk about the stuff that you read. Like, and if you guys get this, tell me. Like, I'd love to do like a little book club or something eventually. But for now, I'll definitely keep doing the reviews and telling you more about it. Thanks again for watching. And please be sure to like and subscribe.